All right, so now here comes everyone's favorite part: exporting the track. At least this is what I live for. This part, oh man, I don't even know, man. It's gonna be super hard. You have to go up to the file button. You just go to your export. You go to your WAV file. You select the folder you want to export to. In this case, it's our desktop. You have to rename it. I mean, this is really hard. I mean, we have to find what's the song name. Put in some sort of song name, and you have to save. And okay, actually, this part's a little bit more difficult, so I won't be bantering too much. But what this is saying is like, okay, before you export, what file formats do you want? Quality. Sampling was. I don't think you won't definitely. At least I don't need to mess. I don't think I've ever messed with too many of these knobs. Only things that I've ever messed with is the WAV and the MP3, and these are really the only two formats you'll ever export. So when both of these are on, it's gonna export a version in WAV, which is like the highest quality version you can get, and an MP3, which is still pretty high quality, but saves a lot more space. If you want to do MP3, one thing you'll be cognizant of is this bit rate down here. You want to turn that up to about 320, because that's about the highest bit rate you can get, and still have, at least with compression, and still have everything more or less intact. Because if you go down to 160, the audio quality pretty much degrades. So this is what most radio tracks will sound like. But if you go down here, this is like YouTube rip quality. This is like I don't know. This is like phone quality when you're listening to those songs over the phone, or at least when like putting on White Call. This is like the quality they put. So for your track, unless you're going for some weird artistic avant-garde thing, if you're exporting MP3, you probably want 320 and 1624-bit. I mean, either of these is fine. You probably don't need something that big, but yeah, I usually stick to just either of these are fine. I don't even notice the difference. And the guys who are really, really high caliber, it's really like 1.001% detail if you switch between these two. So if you want to save room, I would suggest 16-bit. 320, maybe if you need to save room, 256. But yeah, you select those two. If you want high quality, I usually just select these two. Hit start, and you just sit back and you let it export. And it should give you a little dialog box down below, telling you how long you have until it's done. All right, so now that our track is done exporting, we'll create a new instance. Go to our desktop or wherever you saved a file. Take your track, you drag it into your file, and boom. Well, first, make sure you're on your master. Turn it down, and now you can listen to your full track in beautiful harmony. And congratulations, this is your first track. So, in regards to, okay, I got a track, what do I do with it? How do I make money off of it? How do I become famous? Hold your horses, I wish I wish I could say, yeah, after, a couple of these, you're great, and record labels be all over you. But even after 4 years of doing this, can't say I've had too much success, at least in terms of getting record labels right away. So, what I will say is that you want to take this track, and in terms of places if you want to release it and share it with your friends, just to share off one, like, hey, I kind of made a dance track, this is cool. And if that's the extent, I'd say upload it to places like SoundCloud or YouTube, and then you can share the link with your friends, and they can be like, yeah, man, this is the greatest track ever. If you're interested in wanting to get better as a producer, and you're willing to like detach your ego or just watch it just get absolutely slaughtered, I would suggest taking your first track and then uploading it to SoundCloud or YouTube, and then you post it to forums like either Layback Luke forums or I think the EDM production subreddit. Go to their feedback threads and be sure to hit those, and don't just post it there. Say, hey, this is my first track. What do you guys think? Be very respectful of them and say, hey, this is my first track. I'd like to know where I can improve. Just solicit feedback from people in general. Maybe post a couple what are called reference tracks or people you really look up to that you wouldn't mind making music like, and they'll be super helpful. As long as you're respectful, maybe give some feedback, the little that you can, to other people's tracks. They'll be super respectful and helpful for your track in terms of helping you as a producer. So those are kind of the two paths you can take. If you're making this just to say, hey, I made a dance music track, and this is awesome, and show it off, go down, just release it on SoundCloud, YouTube, share it with your friends. That's no problem. If you're interested in getting the best way, it's saying, okay, I made this first track, how do I improve it to become one of the best producers I can be? I say, from my experience, put it on SoundCloud, You share it to Layback Luke Forums, EDM, not Ghost Producer, not quite there yet. EDM, the EDM Producer subreddit. Sometimes we are the music makers, but I would say especially the EDM subreddit, EDM Producer subreddit. Go to those two places, find their feedback threads, post it there, and then just detach your ego again, because it's gonna hurt. I'm telling you, it's like your first baby, and you're like, yeah, it's such a good thing, and then they'll just boom, they'll tell you all the little problems with it. And I mean, even though it's like that'd be so, it definitely hurts. It's great because you're like, okay, these are the areas I need to improve. Now I would ask them, if you're not necessarily certain, okay, how do I improve these areas? Maybe message a few producers. Maybe ask me. I'm always happy to say, hey, if you can give me specifically, maybe, okay, they're saying my kick drum sounds weird. How exactly do I solve that? Maybe shoot a question my way, and I'll see if I can help you out, or any other producers on there, because they're all super helpful. Also, Google's your friend in this regard. So yeah, just put your track out there, figure out what the problems are, and then, okay, once you make a list of the problems, send your question. Say if you're not familiar, if you're not sure how to solve these problems. So with that, let's wrap up the video.